this book, Don't Forget Your Crown, and what I wrote it about. Me and my wife, we got back together in 2016. Now, what throws some people off about that is that we were messing around having sex before we got back together. We got back together, I think, in August of 2016. Later in 2016, August, September. We conceived the baby in January that was born in early October. You do the math if you want to, right? Now, I got roasted up and down, and guess what? I totally get why, because that's a shaky foundation. We had a baby. We wasn't even prepared to get in a relationship. Me knowing that this is the woman that I wanted, I went ahead and got down on one knee within a couple of months. It wasn't just because of the baby. I really was like, I've been unhappy doing my thing with these other chicks or whatever. I know this woman, her name is Danae, by the way, is the one that I want. Fast forward. Of course, that's a shaky foundation, trash foundation. Two people just riding high on love and emotion, and then being new parents right in the very beginning of a new marriage. That brings me up to some of the issues that we had that led to Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other. Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other is a biblically based manuscript game plan on how to let God restore your relationship or restore you no matter how much you've been hurt in the past, broken you are, etc. Okay? So, Heal Together Without Hurting Each Other talks about how to have your individual journey and how the journey is really not a journey, it's a fight. It talks about all these different things. Now, why did I even write this book? February 1st, this is something a lot of you did not know. February 1st, me and my wife separated. I'm talking official separation. Before that, we had like an unofficial separation. You know, I'm not at the house, she's not at the house, we're not talking, we not blah, blah, blah. February 1st is the official, mutual, I said, look, I don't think this is going to work, separation. We had some challenges before that. February 4th, I gave my life to Christ. I said, God, I can't handle this. I need you to come in and help me out. That was on February 4th, the exact same day, Danae, my wife, she packed up the kids and left the crib, went 1,500 miles away to her mom's crib. All right? Fast forward, because I'm trying to get to the point. I know what a lot of people really want to talk about, some of the stuff that has been swirling around or whatever, right? Fast forward a couple of months. In those couple of months, we were working on the marriage. Hey, maybe we can make this work. We're praying. We're going to church about this. Now we're both in Christ. She was already a Christian. I'm a new Christian. And it's not working. Nothing that I implement is working. Nothing that we're having in these conversations is working. Basically start losing hope around, I would say, May. Then we had a disagreement about whether or not to even have the kids here at my place or, you know, up there with her mom. Matter of fact, let's do some fact checking. If somebody wants to pull up my YouTube channel, you can see in the earlier part of 2020 where I'm doing my videos, what you'll see is I'm in Airbnbs up in Denver. I was flying back and forth over and over again, right? And again, guys, people in the comments, I told y'all the bloodthirsties are here and they're going to try to dominate the comment section. Ignore them. All right? Anyway, even with all of that being said, I'm flying up, we're meeting with pastors, we're doing this, we're doing that, things are not working. Around May is whenever we started losing, like both of us started feeling, mainly her though. And then we had an argument about where the kids were going to be, whether they're going to be with me on this date or her with that date. And then lawyers got introduced. Shortly after lawyers got introduced, I realized she wasn't wearing her ring. Shortly after that, because we're continuing to talk as much as possible, we stopped talking. Most of our conversation is in text message. And then we have a conversation. When we do have a conversation, she's letting me know, like, whatever you need to do because you're not my responsibility. I'm not linked to you. Like, we are together, but right now I understand if you got to go out and do whatever. Now, what that spoke to me was, I don't care if you're going to be with other women, et cetera, et cetera. But that wasn't my green light. My issue was this. At that point, I had a beef with God. I gave my life to Christ on February 4th, 2020. Matter of fact, some of y'all that follow my Twitter may have seen me a couple of weeks ago talking about how I just hit my 1-year mark. I gave my life to Christ and my whole life fell apart. My marriage fell apart. At this point, I'm not seeing my kids. You know, I'm helping people best I can, but that's not giving me fulfillment. I got money, I got this, that, and the other. And I really honestly just went to a place of effort. Just screw it. I don't care no more. I don't care about being a good man because look where it's got me. I don't care about serving God because look where it's got me, right? That was in May. I would say June, conversation is slowing down. She's waiting for a lawyer to get back to her. And what I'm getting to is the point where I hit rock bottom, because I did hit a rock bottom and where God pulled us from. And then this is how all of this came to be. June, we talking about my birthday. She basically lets me know there's no plan for her to be around on my birthday. Okay. Now I'm in screw it mode, F it mode. I'm hitting up old chicks. I really don't care at this point. I don't care about my reputation. I don't care about the business. I don't care about any of that. One of those people was a girl named Candace. She's from Florida, Orlando, Florida. Girl I'd have known, at least been acquainted with for a couple of years, right? Last time I think I seen her was back in 2016 before me and my wife got together. I hit Candace up. I'm going to come down to Miami. We're going to kick it. I'm going to get a guy, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's the thing. And we're going to do a Q&A right after this. Here's the thing. So me and Candace have had a sexual relationship without actually having sex all of these years, right? So we go hang out. We're on the yacht. We're doing our thing. Friends are there. We come back to my Airbnb. Everybody's having a kickback. She leaves. Everybody leaves. My boys leave. She leaves. Everything. She comes back the next day because we're going to go out to eat. And for some reason, she needed to use my charger first thing in the morning. I didn't really find that odd. I didn't think nothing about it. What I didn't know was Candace was taking pictures of my feet. Found that out later. Okay? Next thing I know, we kicking it. We chilling. We actually go meet up with one of her friends at a brunch spot. We leave there, and what was it? A couple of weeks later, I'm like, look, I'm about to do something for my birthday. Do you want to come out? Got her friends out. Long story short, her friends and I would say about 25 to 30 people. We having a mansion party. We tripping out. I'm smoking. I'm getting high. Still no sex. But she wants to use the bathroom. She wants to go and use my charger whenever we did the house tour with a couple of people. She wants to stop and do this, stop and do that. I didn't know what was going on until later on. That the entire time she was trying to take pictures of me as I'm walking in and out. Okay, I didn't know that, right? Cool. Fast forward to I'm talking to my mentor because at this point, I'm not feeling where I'm at. I'm breaking down. I don't want to do anything productive. If you look at my videos from, what was it? If you look at my videos from June, about June 10th to September 10th, you'll see me post about 2 to 3 times. Talking to my mentor, I basically just had this whole meltdown about nothing is satisfactory. God don't love me. My wife is rejecting me. I'm not able to see my kids. And something that he told me basically changed my life. And he said, D, the reason why you're not happy, the reason why nothing is lining up the way that you want it, is because you verbally gave your life to Christ, but you didn't submit your life to Christ. You verbalized it, you said it, you accepted him, but you didn't walk with him. You didn't walk in according to his word. You're still holding on to some things. Okay? That was probably, I think, July 27th or something like that. My wife is getting ready to come back in town. We haven't had much further dialogue about the divorce or anything like that, but we haven't rekindled anything. So at that point, what I decided was, okay, the marriage is done. But in order for me to have an opportunity to have this happiness or have this fulfillment that I'm looking for, I have to come into alignment with God. And that means even if my wife is ringing off, totally not talking to me, even if whatever, I won't even say depressed, but really in a bad space, even if whatever, in order for me to really connect with God, I got to clear some things out. So I threw away my liquor. I threw away every bit of other things that I was using. I cut off everybody, Candace included. Now, I won't say I gave an explanation. All I said was this ain't right, and we don't need to talk again until this divorce is final. The whole time we have been talking, I was letting her know, hey, we're separated. I'm just doing my thing. I'm chilling. I'm kicking it. All that other good stuff. Which, by the way, I'll be honest with you. I won't necessarily say I recommend. I believe I preached on it. Somebody fact check me. Whenever I've talked on this subject, my whole dialogue has been that you don't want to deal with a man who's separated because he may still have feelings for his wife. He may be lying to you. In my case, I definitely had feelings for my wife, but I thought we were over and I wasn't lying. So am I practicing what I preach? I guess so. So anyway, I sent her that text message. I blocked her on everything. In the past, what I would do is, and this is what caused a lot of issues even in my marriage, I would mostly cut somebody off. I would in communication, but I wouldn't cut it. I wouldn't completely obliterate. I wouldn't completely close every door to that part of my life. All right? It was only on that day, and don't get me wrong, this wasn't immediate. It was only on that day where I started seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. My anxiety is not nearly where it was. Me not wanting to do this, not caring to inspire anybody, not nearly where it was. Even in terms of me and Danae's communication, she still went forward. By the way, I wish I had printed this out because I believe you can actually search this. She filed for divorce. Some people may say, well, Derrick, was the separation really real? She filed for the divorce. The lawyers were in. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to my email. Trey Sauls is my lawyer. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me see. Hold on. I don't know. It's not showing. Can you guys see the date? Okay, you can't see the date. I should have studied how to do this. I've seen some questions in there. I'm going to get to the questions right after. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to get to the questions right after. Anyway, at this point, she goes through and she files for divorce. And yes, this entire time, I'm sitting there breaking down. I'm sitting there, my marriage is trashed. Even though I'm not posting regularly, I haven't completely stopped. So if you want to say like, Derrick, that's, you tripping for not coming forward and saying that your own marriage is in shambles or whatever. That's what I definitely did. But she filed for divorce. I believe it was officially filed on the 28th of August. But by the end of that month, we finally come into alignment with God's way, finally allowed for us to start having real conversations. It's like you can kind of depend on the way that you want to do things. You can kind of depend on what you think is going to be best, your own intellect, your own knowledge. But what I said in this book, and this is how it all ties in, it wasn't until I learned that I can have all the knowledge in the world, I can have all the intellect in the world. But whenever you're in a spiritual covenant, when you're in a covenant with God, you can't do it by your own judgment. You can't do it by your own thought processes, your own reason, your own logic, right? That was the end of August. I believe it was about a mid-September where we ended up at the same church event, and the pastor was willing to see us in the back after church and all of that stuff, and we basically had a one-on-one with him, and that's where we decided we were going to take divorce completely off the table. Taking divorce completely off the table was such a huge turnaround because just 2 or 3 months prior, she wasn't talking to me. We weren't talking. And I'll let her talk for herself, and she's able to come down here in a little bit. She's putting the kids to bed. She's a strong woman of God. She has her own voice. But we weren't talking, weren't doing anything, right? And here we are taking divorce completely off the table and now talking about our future again. So in that time, with godly counsel and with putting everybody back where they're supposed to go, because both of us had let some outsiders in. Candace was only one of mine, but my wife did too, and I don't think it was other guys. I'm not trying to insinuate that. But outsiders were allowed in, something that I talked about in Don't Forget Your Crown that you're not supposed to do. I'm referencing this because this is what I preach. So wisdom is one of those things that you can either listen to it, heed it, or not. Either way, you're going to eat the fruit of it. That was in September. By the end of December, me and her, I'm talking about crushing the honeymoon stage. Crushing the honeymoon stage. Now, what had to happen in order for that to go down? Well, first off, there was a complete purge of everything that was not of God. There was a complete submission to God. Some of you may look at my YouTube videos. Anybody in the comment section, you may be able to peep that since August, I haven't cussed in any of my videos. I haven't said Team Jackson was happening. Why is that? Because my platform is not my platform anymore. I completely have come into the submission of Christ. You may look on Twitter and see certain things that I've said, acknowledging Christ, acknowledging God. Now, these are just like small, I guess, evidences, but since August, the beginning of August, I would say, not only my marital life, not only my internal peace, but even the impact that I'm having on people, not just in dating and relationships, but now in marriage, completely skyrocketed. So that's only a piece of my testimony. That is according to what I've preached in my books. That is according to what I've preached in my videos. I am absolutely cool with being held accountable. I have no problem with that whatsoever. And I have no problem saying what I did was wrong. But let me be very clear. In dealing with that girl, while I was actually separated, a couple of weeks before the divorce was filed, it wasn't wrong necessarily according to my old logic. Why was it wrong? It was wrong because I was in a covenant with God, and I only was making it contingent based on my wife. I was only making it contingent based on what she said. Well, we're not dealing with each other. Well, she's not meeting my needs. And in that, I think anybody is kind of setting themselves up to fail. Even if the divorce goes through, I had to get to a place where no matter what, I'm honoring my commitment to God first, my wife second, the marriage second. And that's with the marriage completely gone, her all but guaranteeing that she was out the door. So that is the gist of it. Like I said, guys, if you look in the comments, you're going to see the bloodthirsties. They really don't care. But I'll own up to anything that I did, and I deserve to be held accountable for anything that I did. If I was living a double life, it was trying to encourage people when I was discouraged. It was trying to help people build healthy relationships when my relationship was dismantled, disheveled. I absolutely did that. So at some point, I guess we'll get a fix for that. But let's go ahead and go.
So after just hearing all of that, let me know in the comment section down below, how do you feel about this situation? Now, did you change your mind now that you heard him explain what happened and what...
And now this is being made public to you guys, so we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Yes, so I do want to just add that I agree with what he just said. There is no justification for bringing other women into our marriage on any level, and it was unacceptable, and it's not something that I tolerate or that we tolerate moving forward. And when I've been flooded again with messages and these things and about, I need to leave or why haven't I left? And the answer is, when I found out about it, I left. I did not hesitate or waste time to do so. And I stayed gone. No matter how many times he came, I stayed gone. and stood firm on, I am not coming back. And I did not come back until I seen a shift and a change in his mentality and how he carried himself and how he presented himself in conversations that we were able to have that we had never been able to have in just 12 years of knowing each other. And when we were able to have these dialogues, said, okay, Lord, this is something that you've had your hand on, and this was with me being completely removed from his life, and him pursuing God, continuing to pursue God, and continuing to eliminate these things that led up to the catastrophe that you guys are seeing for the first time. So there's nothing out there right now that is information that I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek guidance and wise counsel from men of God. And that is what I needed for the continuation of me being present in this marriage and to stand by his side. So today, where I'm at is at peace, and I proudly stand by his side, and I have no hesitation, I have no hurt, no shame about that. And it's only because of the grace of God and the mercy of God. And we have already turned a new chapter in this story. We are continuing to move forward, and we are just now sharing that with you all. And I forgave him, and most importantly, God has first forgiven him, and I also forgive the others as well. And with that, we are free and moving forward. So that's all I have.
Yeah. And I get it. Some of y'all, like, this may come as a huge shock, probably a huge disappointment. I let a lot of you down. If you had a perspective shift on who Derrick is, hopefully it's away from anything remotely close to perfection. And it's simply that, I am a human, and that does not justify anything that I did. But I don't want anybody out there to be putting me on a pedestal. If you did, and I hate that you did that, maybe I gave you cause for that, and I apologize if I did. For those who are saying, Derrick, I don't want to ever listen to you again, it's totally understandable. I appreciate you while I had your support and helping me get the message out about healing and healthy relationships to so many people who needed it, myself included. And for those who are going to continue to support, man, I appreciate you like never before, because I know it's not going to be easy going forward, it's at least for a little while so many things are still fresh and attached to my name. But for everybody out there, if you get nothing else from what I've ever said over the last 9 years or right here in this video, please get this. Nothing is right until it is right with God. Nothing works until it comes into alignment with biblical standard of how God told us to do things, especially when we're talking about a marital, spiritual covenant.
Yes.
You cannot do this by your own understanding, your own intelligence, your own willpower, your own values. You have to have the grace of God to break free from certain things, to stay away from certain things, to not operate from your lowest self, whatever it may be. And it's because it's really only by God's grace that we're even able to be here on this video, holding hands. Well, like a year ago, 7-8 months ago even, I couldn't see this happening. I thought it was over, and I already had begun establishing my relationship with God. But that's the fruit of bringing things in alignment with God. And the mess that's been made, the mess that's now being made public from last year and years past, that's a result of getting out of alignment with doing things God's way. So that's where I stand. That's where we stand. And again, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you soon. Peace.